Go ahead and sit back in your chair. Wiggle in. Notice how the low back feels. This is for me. Notice how it feels to wiggle and kind of press into the back of your chair. And then you start to feel the hips and what they're doing. And then you can wiggle the shoulders. Good. And wiggle the neck. All right, and I've heard some requests for neck today, so we'll definitely spend some time on that. All right, and let's take a few breaths just to settle in. Feel your feet on the ground if they reach. Feel the back of your thighs on your chair. Feel the whole chair supporting you. And without too much effort, just try to draw the shoulders so that they are over the hips. Not squeezing, but just feeling them lining up. And then lining up your ears over your shoulders. Good. And we'll take 3 rounds of breath. And with each inhale, imagine that you're drawing, sipping air all the way up through the spine till the breath expands the chest. And then keep the length of your spine and let your shoulders and your face relax. Good. Take 2 more of those. Go as slow or as fast as you're comfortable with. I prefer slow. And soften. And then after you're complete with those 3 slow rounds of breath, come back to a natural breath. Gently open the eyes. We'll take a cleansing breath, and that's a big inhale through the nose and a big sigh out of the mouth. We might need a couple of those. Deep breath in through the nose, fill all the way up to the top, and then let it go with a big sigh. Good. All right. And then just noticing how you're feeling today. Bring one shoulder up and then the other shoulder up. So we're going to alternate one shoulder and then the other. And just notice, does that feel different in your shoulder? Does it feel different in your neck? And if you want, you could even scrunch your ear toward the shoulder that's lifting and then scrunch the other side and continue. I've got a couple more people joining. We've got a nice group today. This seems to be a good time. Everybody's had time to have their breakfast, have their coffee, maybe take a walk. And then if you're not on Eastern Standard Time, this is still an okay time, right? All right, and then relax the shoulders down. And this time we're going to try to lower one shoulder and then lower the other. So we're working at lengthening down, right and left. Good morning. Good. Noticing how that feels. All right, and as the shoulders relax down, we'll come back to this time right ear moving toward right shoulder. Good, and then just noticing how that left side of the neck feels. Do a little bit of tucking of the chin in and then lifting the chin gently. Not a lot, just finding a little diagonal movement through the neck as we lean to the right. Good. And then bring your head back up to neutral. We'll move left side. So left ear toward left shoulder, both shoulders are relaxed. Good. And then again, chin slightly toward the chest and then chin slightly up. Take a couple of those. And maybe you notice that one side of your neck has a little more tension than the other. And then bring your head back up to neutral. And then turn your head so that you're looking over the right shoulder. And then turn it so that you're looking over the left shoulder. Good. One more time as we go to the right. And then take that nodding motion with the chin down and chin up just a little. Just feel that range of motion in that side of the neck. We're just trying to get a little bit of circulation happening through the neck muscles. And then bring it back to center and let your head turn to the left. Good. Pausing whenever you reach your edge there and then take the chin up and down. Good. And then bring the head back to neutral. Let your chin tuck and then come down toward the chest. And then pause here. Notice the back of the neck. Can you make the back of the neck just a little longer? And then slowly take the chin right and left. Good. Bring your head up to neutral. And you have a couple of options here. You can support your head by bringing your hands behind the head. If your shoulders don't like that movement, you can skip that, but just make sure that you're not dropping the head back too far. And you could also take a towel and bring it across the back of the neck. So all we're going to do is lift. Good. Lengthen the back of the neck. And then feel a length there as you take the chin right and left. Good. Then bring the head back to neutral. And then we'll combine all of that into a circle. So taking the chin and drawing the letter O, making it small or making it big. We'll take a few rounds in one direction and then pause and reverse so you're going the opposite direction. And sometimes we hear our clock pops and clicks at this point. Good. Bring your head back to neutral. Nice job. All right. We're going to start doing a little bit of twisting. So go ahead and come forward on your chair so that you're no longer leaning back. I know we like this. We like to lean back on our chairs. But let's use our muscles to hold ourselves up. We're going to get a little bit of spinal movement, just letting our body twist. And you can take your feet wider if that's more comfortable. So keep your arms lifted so that we're not pulling ourselves into a twist, okay? And just notice how that feels. Now, as you twist to the right, what if you turn your head to the left? And what if you twist to the left and turn your head to the right? It's kind of different. We're making the neck go move in the opposite direction of the spine. And then notice how it feels to look around the room as you swivel your head. Does that make you dizzy? And if it does, then you can close your eyes or you can keep your gaze facing forward. Good. And I know that's weird. Now go ahead and let your head turn the same direction as your body. And then the same direction on the right. So let's pause on the right and let everything rest for about 3 rounds of breath. So we're still finding a twist. Deep breath in, lengthen the spine. And then with your exhale, find your twist. Good. Unwind your twist, come back to center. And then keeping your left hand on your right thigh, right hand comes to shoulder. Maybe we lift up and as we lean to the left. And maybe we reach up. So it's up to you to figure out how far you really want to go here. Take about 3 rounds of breath here. Can you lengthen that spine up a little bit longer before you go over? So take your time. Good. And then unwind that, come up to neutral. Good. In between sides, we're going to take a little half forward fold. So remember, we always want the tailbone to be neutral rather than sticking out or curled under before we hinge forward at the hips. So you can stop here, keep your spine long, you can bring your forearms down. So those of you who are dealing with any back pain today, keep this long and high. Because as soon as we go deep, your spine's going to round and you may not feel good for that today. For some of you who like that, it's okay. But I know if I'm dealing with a sore back, I'm not going to go further, okay? Take about 2 rounds of breath this time. Yep, gravity do some of the neck work. So while you're in your half forward fold or full forward fold, tuck the chin down and then lift the chin. So we're going to use gravity to give us a little traction on that neck. Good. And then go ahead and bring your hands back to your thighs. Slowly come back up. Good. Nice job. This time we're going to twist to the left, letting our body go to the left, and then the right hand can rest on the left thigh. We're not pulling into the twist, okay? Take it easy today. Take 2 rounds of breath here. Lengthen your spine with the inhale. And then twist with the exhale. Good. And then start to unwind your twist. We're going to keep the right hand over to the left side and then bring the left hand to the shoulder. And then with an inhale, we'll take that elbow up and then keep the breath going. So you can decide to keep elbow up. You can decide to stretch out the arm and reach further over. So take 2 more rounds of breath here. And notice how that left side feels. Good, and then come back up, beautiful. All right, let's roll the shoulders up and back and down. And then reach back when the shoulders are back, and then release down. And when the shoulders are forward, bring the hands of the back of the hands together. I know it's a weird thing. And then shoulders up, reach back. Good, and then one more time. Round, bring the back of the hands together, and then last time, open it up. Good, release, sit all the way back in your chair. I know we don't do this too often right in the middle of class, do we? And lean back. So you can kind of let the chair support you. And then either keep your chin slightly neutral or let the head lift just a little. Try not to drop your head back too far. So we're finding a back bend that's supported by the chair before we move into our cat-cow. Good, and then come back up to neutral. Beautiful. All right, and so then now we'll continue with cat-cow. So take it gently. So start with the tailbone tucking under and then scooping back. So let your pelvis do the movement first. I know it's a really weird movement. I do this on the ground too. This is one of my favorite ones in bridge pose. So it's kind of a tucking of the tailbone. So our pelvis is tilting forward and then letting the pelvis tilt back, okay? Now keep the pelvis neutral and let the shoulders round forward, chin to chest, and then let the shoulders reach back. Chin lifts, chest forward, and then round and extend, and round and extend. Now let's put it all together as we extend the tailbone reaches back, only if it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, keep your pelvis neutral. So we'll extend and then round and curl everything in toward the center. Good, we'll just take 2 more of those. Inhale. Expand and exhale, round. We're actually drawing the belly in, so we're using our abdominal muscles to protect that back. And then 1 more, inhale and exhale. Good. Come to a neutral spine, reach up tall. Either arms up or just keeping your hands at your shoulders. Just lift your rib cage away from your hips. Get as long as you can. Notice the muscles that are helping you do that. Deep breath. And a big sigh. Let it go. Good job. We've done all of our spine already. It's a really good time for a water break. If you want some, take a little break, grab a sip of water. I'm going to check in. How's everybody feeling so far? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah, okay. I understand. Good. So I wasn't feeling so great. I did a little bit of yoga this morning for my back. I wasn't feeling so great about this as we started the class, but I'm actually starting to feel a little bit better. So because I have a little bit of sinus pressure, I'm not going to do a lot of deep forward folds. You know, that's just going to make it worse. So, but I'll give you that option if you want to. All right, so we've done our shoulders a little bit. We've done our neck. We've done our spine. So let's continue through the hips. So take your legs wide. Good. And then all we're going to do is let the knees come in. So I'm lifting my heels, so I'm pivoting on the balls of the feet. And then knees out. So it's just an in and out movement. Any point this doesn't feel good on your knees, then you're going to bring your feet a little closer together. So we're just doing here and here, okay? I know that some of you have some knee issues, so sometimes coming in can bother the knees. So just going to do a little pivoting here. Good. Remember, we can do Charleston, crossing the arms and then uncrossing. Good. Good. Notice how that feels. And then what happens when we pause and press it out? You can even use your hands to gently press the thighs out and press your thighs against your hands. Notice which muscles you feel when you do that. So we're using some of the inside of our thighs, but we may feel it on the outside too. And then notice when the knees come in, if you squeeze them in, what are you feeling there? So again, we're using the inside thighs, but you might feel it on the outside of the hips. Now, as we would never stand like this. This would just be a terrible position on the knees. Okay, and then bring the knees so that they're over the ankles. All right, start with bringing the right leg into the chest. Give it a hug. You can hold the back of the thigh or the front of the shin. Some of you are very flexible and you can hold your foot. I'm not going to try that today. So give it a nice squeeze. Good. And then point and flex the toes. And circle the ankle. And reverse the direction of your circle. Use your right hand to continue to hold on to that right leg, and we're just going to do a little up and down. All right, and then side to side, out and in. All right, and then as we come in, you can take left hand on right knee, and you can hold it here. You can keep it here, or you can cross it over. It's up to you. All right, and then I'm leaning to my left, so I'm going to try and straighten things up a little bit here so that I'm not putting weird pressure on my pelvis. Take a twist to your right. Good. Take 2 rounds of breath. And then with your exhale, draw the belly in, come out of your twist, and then take an inhale. And then with your right hand, we're lifting that right knee underneath or on front, and then bring it out to the right. And notice how that feels. Good. All right, we're not doing the strap. I'm just noticing how the hips feel today. All right, and then go ahead and bring it forward. Stretch the right leg out in front of you. Little bend in the knee. Maybe your toes are pointing up. Maybe they're pointing down. It's really up to you. And then keeping the hands on the left thigh, start to hinge at your hips. Remember, we're keeping the spine long, no rounding until you get to the edge of your forward fold. All right, remember low back, we're not coming too far. Low back issues. Some of you are really comfortable with this pose, and if you want to reach for your right shin or right toe, feel free, but there's no particular goal here. And notice how my spine rounds as soon as I try to do that. There's nothing wrong with rounding your spine, but if you're dealing with back problems, I discourage that, okay? All right, and then bring your hands to that left thigh and slowly come on up. We're going to point the foot on that right and slide the foot back. Good. All right. Woo, let's see if I can remember that all on the second side. I have no idea what we just did. Oh, I know. Knee to chest. Thank you, Annie. You always help me. So we're going to bring the left knee up into the chest and notice how it feels to kind of squeeze it in. Notice if you're rounding, if you're sagging, try to keep your spine long. And go ahead and get the toes moving, your ankle moving, point and flex. And rotate. And rotate other direction. Remember to rest anytime you need to. We're going to take the left hand and lift the knee and then lower it down. You can actually do both hands on this one. It's lifting and lowering. Observing where you feel that sensation. And then with just the left hand, go out and in. And out and in. Good. And we can hold it out for a little bit. Notice the inside of the thigh or wherever you're feeling this. And then bring it in. And this time we're going to hug it in And either with the right hand on the left leg, you can stay here or you can cross it over, depending on how your hip feels. Now I found I'm leaning, so we're gonna try and keep it even with both sides pressing down into the chair. And then find your twist to the left. Go ahead and take 2 rounds of breath here. We use your exhale to draw the belly in and then come forward and then take your inhale. So especially if you're dealing with back issues, when you're doing any movement, let's go ahead and bring that left leg and stretch it out in front. Anytime you're twisting or moving, you want to do that with the exhale because then everything is braced for that, okay? So right hand, hands on the right thigh. All right, brace your low belly, reach your tailbone down, and then hinge forward. Maybe your toe points up, maybe your toe points down. So again, just maybe halfway, maybe a little bend in the knee. And then some of you will, really reach for your toes, but don't, you take it to where you need it today. Kind of checking in with the hamstrings. How do the back of the legs feel? Good. And then to come up, we're going to bring the hands back to the right thigh and press ourselves back up. Point the toes so that your foot is almost flat on the mat, and then just slide the foot back. Notice how that made your ankle feel. Good. And then just lift the heels and lift the toes. Kind of getting a little bit of ankle movement here today. While we're doing that, let's go ahead and flex the wrists up and down. It doesn't matter which direction you're going. If you're going the same direction as your feet or the opposite direction, you know how this gets, right? We get kind of a little fancy, right? So then while the ankles are still going, make fists with the hands and do the up and down motion. And then turn the palms up with fists and do up and down. I know we're getting a little crazy now. All right, but you can do it. All right, and then shake out the hands, shake out the feet, tap them out. So somebody told me this week, and I don't know if it's really true, I have to look it up, that it's impossible to rotate your wrist and ankle in opposite directions. So we know we can do it same direction, right? We can do the same direction, but we can't do the ankle one direction and the hand the opposite. I feel like that's true because I can't do it, but maybe somebody else can do it. I cannot get the ankle and the wrist going in the opposite directions. I just cannot. There's something about the brain that's saying, no, it's not going to happen. So anyway, that's how I feel. All right. So we've gone from head to toe. Maybe we need a little bit of more hands. So clasp your hands. Let's actually start with our hands pressed together. A little bit more shoulder work. So I'm going to get a little closer. So we're going to press the palms together, relax the shoulders. There you go. Everybody had their shoulders hunched up. All right, lift the elbows. Press your palms together. Feel the arm motion happening there. At the same time, draw your belly in and your rib cage. And then press to the right. Good. And center. And press to the left. And center. This time as we press to the right, we're going to turn the head to the left. And then come through center. And then as we press to the left, we're going to turn the head to the right. Good. And then come back through center. Turn the fingers forward. You can point them right in front of you, or you can turn them down toward the ground. Noticing how that feels on the wrists. Relax your shoulders. Nice job. All right. And then bring the palms up. And then start to turn the fingers toward your chest. Elbows come up, but keep the shoulders down. Good. Noticing how that feels through the whole arms area. I'm going to go ahead and clasp your hands here, interlace your fingers, and gently press the palms forward. All right. So you can keep your elbows bent, or you can stretch out the arms. Good. We're going to play with pressing forward, rounding the upper back, and then drawing it back. And then press and back. And last one. Good. And then go ahead and bring the arms out and reach back. So in this case, I have my palms facing each other, but you could spin the palms out if you want to, okay? Just notice how that feels, that rotation in your shoulders. Good, and then release down. Good, shake everything out. All right. And then we'll take that just one more time. Plant the palms together, lift your elbows, relax the shoulders. Good. This time, we're gonna keep the fingertips together and bring the heel of the hands away so that we're like in a spider that's on a mirror, right? And then do little spider push-ups. We're just trying to let the fingers come together and back out again. I know it's kind of weird, but it's for the fingers. Yeah. All right. And then put the palms together and separate the fingers. Can you wiggle the fingers while the palms stay together? I don't know, may not be that easy, right? All right, and then we'll interlace the fingers again, but this time with the opposite hand on top. I know you have to think about it. Everybody has that look in their, like they're like trying to think about it. And then again, we'll press it. Good, and instead of forward, if you're okay with bringing your arms overhead, give it a try. You don't have to come all the way up. And then let's think about the shoulder blades, and we're gonna lift up through the shoulder blades and then bring them back down. So it's a lifting and bringing it down. And one more time, lift up and bring it down. Good, release the arms. Ooh, good job. Shake out the shoulder, shake out the hands. All right, nice job. All right, let's take another water break. We'll move, eventually we'll move into our standing poses. What are you doing, Lulu? Lulu's playing with her shark toy. And she just did an up dog, what we call an up dog, which is like cobra pose, right? That's, she just did that one. All right. Couple of options with standing. You can stand any way you want, or if you want to practice strengthening the tops of your thighs, I'm just going to tighten the tush and lean forward and then come back. That's version one. Tighten the tush, lean forward, lean back or sit back, okay? The second variation is starting to shift your weight into your feet, come up out of the chair and then come back again. Try to keep your knees forward, not letting your knees fall in against each other. And then the third variation is as you reach forward, you come up into your standing position, and then you bend the knees and hover over your chair as you come back to your chair. We'll do two more, whatever variation you've chosen today. Good. I've noticed that when I do the strong movement, I'm really drawing the belly in. All right, and we've got last one. This one, we're gonna come all the way up. Nice, reach up tall. Deep breath in and a big sigh. Good. All right, move around so your chair is off to your side or in front of you, or move your chair around. All right. And find your mountain pose. Feet are facing forward and they're about hip width or wider, hip bones or wider apart. Good. Hands on hips, we're going to press to the right and press to the left. Good. Side to side, feeling that outer hip movement. Good. And then with a little bend in the knees, press forward. I'm actually tucking my tailbone under here, squeezing my glutes, and then pressing back. So it's a little tuck and tilt, tuck and tilt. Now, because I have a little sore back, I'm going to keep this motion really small. It actually helps me. And then put that together into a right, forward, left, back. So make a circle. Feeling that circle. Good. And then switching so that you're going the opposite direction. Left, forward, right, back. Do you feel any change, not only in the hips, but what's happening with your feet and your ankles? All right, and then come back to center. All right, and then let's play with those heels again. So just press into your big toe, lift the heels, and then bring it down. All right, you can hold on to something for balance. If you're wanting to get a little bit of a challenge, we can bring the arms out when we come up, and then bring them down when we come down. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, bring it down. We've got 2 more. Each time you can reach a little higher if you want to. Good. My ankles did a little wobbliness there. And then reach up. Good. And then bring it down. Good. So we don't have to hold it a long time, but that's going to help us strengthen our ankles. And then just shake out one leg and then the other. Noticing how everything's starting to feel today. All right, take your feet a little wider, toes turned out. And remember that swinging motion that we did when we were on the chairs and we were just twisting. Now we can let our arms flap. So they're like empty coat sleeves, right? And I like to, when I'm moving to the left, I let the right heel come up so that we can pivot a little bit. And that way, just play with that. Now remember, we can do something different. So as we move our body to the right, we can turn our head to the left. And as we turn to the left, we can turn our head to the right. Sorry, just move your head in the opposite direction that your body's moving. Good. And now let your head move the same direction as your body and see if it feels okay to scan the room as you pivot your head, looking around and noticing what's around you. If it makes you dizzy, then let go of that and just come to whatever works for your body today. All right, and then we're going to start to wind down, come back to center. Beautiful. That's a really useful motion. It doesn't look like anything. It looks like something a kid does when they're bored, but it really gets a lot of good motion in our spine. And if you're looking around, it also gives you a good orientation of where you are and what's around you, okay? All right, and find your mountain pose. And then this time we're just going to march. Right leg and left leg. Feel the little hips lift one at a time. And if you want to add opposite arm, you can do that. Good. And then maybe you pause on one side. And maybe you pause on the other side. That's our balance today, by the way. All right, and then bring it down. Yay, okay. So I've got one more thing for the brain before we move into our half sun salutations. So when we sweep the arms out, we love that symmetry of both arms moving at the same. So what happens if we bring both arms out and keep the left where it is, but let the right arm continue? So we're asymmetrical, right? And then bring it down together. Now both arms reach out, the right hand stays where it is and the left arm keeps going. See how your brain is working a little extra to make that happen. So we can continue that. So arms reach out, then we're gonna let the right arm keep going. Maybe we come up on the balls of the feet, maybe. And then release down. And then one more time. Arms reach up, the left hand keeps going. Good. And bring it down. You see how that is? It's a really simple movement, but it really makes your brain say, wait a second, you know, how do I even it up? Excuse me. All right. And then the last variation is both arms come all the way up. If you want to lift your heels, you can. You don't have to. And take 3 rounds of breath. Inhale, lengthen just a little bit more. Exhale, settle here. 2 more. Feel the length of your spine. And then release. Good. Woo! Shake it out any way you need to. So this is from a class that I took earlier in the week that was really amazing on using opposite parts of the body and how it really kind of trains us. Like for example, if you lift your right knee and left arm, that's fairly natural. That's how we walk. All right. But what if you keep your left arm where it is and let the right leg reach back? Oh, and then swing the left arm while the right knee comes forward. and then switch. All right, now let's add. So right arm, right leg, left arm reaches back and switch and switch. Good. Go ahead and bring it down. It's really nothing fancy. It's just letting our brain control what's happening on different parts of our body. All right, same thing, second side. So left leg comes up, right arm. Good. And then let's do that. So as the left leg steps back, right arm comes there, and then switch, knee up. I know, watch your balance, and back. And up, and back. Good. Up and hold. Good. And release. Good. Yeah, so our balance is just as much about our brain as it is anything else in our body. From this position, let's take a little bend in the knees. Keep your spine neutral so that the low back is really kind of in touch with, in line with the rest of the body. And we're just going to hinge halfway forward into a forward fold. You can be here. You can bring your hands to your thighs. You can bring your forearms to your thighs. Some of you will reach down towards your shins. I even like to bring my hands to a chair sometimes because it helps me find that forward fold without having to strain anything. So whatever forward fold you found, go ahead and pause there. Take 2 rounds of breath. Feel the back of the legs, but feel free to bend your knees as much as you want to. That's our first forward fold, stretching through the hamstrings. And then to come out of this, we'll bring the hands back to the hips, bend the knees, and then bring your torso back to upright. Good. That was Lulu licking me. Yuck. She slimed me. All right. And then for a gentle, gentle back bend, what we're going to do is squeeze the tailbone, squeeze the tush so that the tailbone's reaching down. Bring your hands to your hips or to your waist, and then just gently let the shoulder blades roll back. Chest come forward, maybe look up. It's just a tiny back bend. We don't want to go too deep on that one. And then come back to upright. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to put that together in our half sun salutations. In our standing pose, mountain pose. Feeling your feet beneath you, the alignment of your body. Good, and then just taking that inhale to sweep the arms up. I'm going to come up back a little bit. And then exhale, release. Good. The next one, we're going to add our forward fold. So inhale, reach up. And then with a little softness in the knees, hinge forward to your forward fold. Maybe you're here, maybe you go further, belly closer to thighs with head hanging down. And then inhale, come up halfway. Feel your shoulder blades draw back up. Good. And then back down to forward fold. Good. Sweep the arms out and up, hinging back up through the spine. Lift your chest, maybe look up. And then hands to heart. Beautiful. So that's our half sun salutation. Let's do one more round. So inhale, reach out and up. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, come up to halfway. And exhale, back down to forward fold. Reverse your swan dive with an inhale, come all the way up. Lift up through your chest, maybe look up at your hands. And then exhale, bring your hands to heart. Take a few rounds of breath here. Maybe it feels good to even close your eyes. Checking in with your breath, checking in with your body. Check in with your balance. Good. And as you're ready, gently open your eyes, release your arms. Nice job. Swing it out, march it out, dance it out, whatever you'd like today. Feel free to hold the pose and do nothing. It's fine. All right. Okay, that's great. Okay, so that's most of the standing poses I had planned for today. The only other thing that might feel good, depending on your knees, is goddess pose. And that's feet wide, toes turned out. Good. And if your knees are bothering you, feel free to not bend the knees, okay? But otherwise, we're going to bend the knees, let the tailbone reach down. Good.
I always like to adjust here, really feeling the tailbone pointing down, the lower belly lifting, and then come back up again. All right. For me, that's the best goddess pose. You might find a different variation. From there, you can add the arms. Good. Keep the rib cage in, but draw the elbows back, and just feel the work that's happening in this pose. Equal sides, right? For sun god, we take both arms up and palms face each other. Good. And then release, straighten the legs, heel toe the feet together. Good. So you can pause, you could take a downward facing dog, holding onto the back of your chair. So we're picking kind of symmetrical poses today. And as you hold onto the back of your chair, I like to take my hands a little bit on the wide side, step back, reach back with your hips, draw the lower belly in. It tends to want to relax here. So keep the lower belly in, keep the spine neutral, and take 2 rounds of breath. Good, and then when you're ready to come out of the pose, just look forward and walk your feet forward till you're back to upright. Good. So the important thing about downward facing dog is we're really trying to elongate the spine. We want that stretch, that lengthening of the vertebrae pulling away from each other to create more room for the discs. So it's actually a pretty cool thing to do. All right, we're gonna make our way back down to the chair. You can do it any way you want to. If you want to try goddess pose, which is a squat, you can try that. So we're doing goddess pose. We're taking feet wide, toes turned out, letting our tailbone push, touch the chair. And then if you're feeling ambitious, we come right back up again. If you're feeling ambitious, you may not be. All right, and then bend. And back down. This is the last one. Good. And back down. Nice job. That's good. So good for the knees, but only if it's not bothering them, okay? All right, let's take a little break again. Lulu decided to join. She's doing a bunch of licking sounds. I'm not sure if that's what you're hearing. Quit licking don't lick the microphone, Lulu. He's a weird dog. She's cost us a lot in vet bills, but she's pretty healthy. Now she is, right? Okay. All right, the pose she's doing is Sphinx pose. So I don't know if you know Sphinx pose because this is a chair class. We never are down on the belly, but Sphinx pose is basically imagine that you're on the ground and your elbows are in front of you. And then all we do is gently lift as if we were lifting the chest away from the ground, but the elbows stay in front. So that's Sphinx pose. It's really a good back stretch and back strengthener. But some of you found that reaching the elbows back actually gives you more sensation, right? All right, and then release down. So a lot of these poses, as you know, got their names and their inspiration from animals. Downward facing dog, up dog, Sphinx pose, which is really, I guess, a statue. And then we have cat cow, which is more animals, okay? Now pigeon. Pigeon is, right, the ankle over thigh, or ankle over ankle with a wing, or ankle over thigh. Now I've discovered that for some people, pigeon is too much because of the hips. So you could extend the left leg and cross the right ankle over the left shin. And that's one variation that brings the pigeon down a little bit lower, okay? So just kind of checking in, which works for you today. All right, now in pigeon, we always want to go like, as far as we can go forward, but take some time first to feel the right and left equally pressing down into the chair. And then decide, do you want to come forward or not? If not, it's okay to just stay upright and just feel that release in the right hip. So take your time, no hurry at all. We're just going to find, once you find the edge of your pose where you'd like to be, take 3 slow rounds of breath. And really think about lengthening the spine when you're inhaling And then letting that right hip relax with the exhale. Good. When you're ready to come back up, bring your hands back to your thighs. Slowly come back up. You can release, or you can take right hand under the knee and left hand under the foot if you're reaching that, and then just rock it side to side. So this is like a cradle, baby cradle, right? Some of you who are really flexible can bring the leg in a little closer, all right? So your choice. I know, I knew some of you are. Now watch out though that you're not doing this. You're not curling your tailbone under to make that happen. So keep your spine long if you're gonna hug that in, okay? All right, and then the next thing is to take the leg and bring it over your head. Just kidding, don't do it. All right, and then stretch out the leg. What would be the purpose of that be, right? What's the purpose of bringing your leg over your head unless you're in search of the leg? It really doesn't serve any purpose. All right, stretch the right leg off to the right side, and you can decide whether the toe is out or forward. Kind of play with that rotation in your hip and see which one you like better. All right. And we're going to keep the right hand down on the thigh or under the chair, and then bring the left hand to the shoulder. Good. Lift up through the left elbow. Maybe stretch all the way out, over. Finding our side bend with the right leg extended. Good. And then coming back out, palms up, palms down. Now rotate the palms up and rotate the palms down. Notice how that feels. Good. And then bring that right leg in, give yourself a hug. Rock side to side. All right, you know we can do shark bites, you can do circles, you can do anything you want with your elbows. All right, and let's do that whole same sequence on the left side. So left ankle over right ankle. Left ankle over right shin, or left ankle over right thigh with the knee bent. So your choice, which one's working for you today, and is the left side different than the other? Even up the hips so that you are not leaning so much. That might mean that you're using your abdominal muscles, and then decide if you want to come forward. I'm not going to go as far on this side. This side is the one that's giving me a little bit of tightness. So I'm going to stay about halfway and take 3 rounds of breath here. Good. And then as you're ready, bring your hands back to your thighs, come back to upright. You can take the one hand, the right hand under the ankle, one hand under the knee. If you're not that low, you can just kind of hold whatever you can reach and just rock it side to side. So we always have options. You know, if you're here, you're just kind of hot rocking it in. For those of you who are super flexible, you're welcome to try to hug it in a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, I know. We've got a lot of different body types here. And when you're ready, stretch out the left leg. Lily, you're in the way. And your choice, where you decide to do this, okay? All right, I know. All right, so we'll take our side bend. So left hand stays on the thigh or under the chair. Right hand to right shoulder. Inhale, lift up through that elbow, lengthen the right side. Maybe you reach up and over. And take another breath here. Feel that whole side of the body. Go ahead and then come back up. Beautiful. As the leg comes back in, good. We'll reach the arms out. And instead of turning, we're going to switch it. So right palm up, left palm down. And then left palm up, right palm. Just to check things out. Can we still keep our brains engaged as we start to reach the end of our class? You guys are doing great. All right, reach back, inhale, and exhale. Give yourself a hug. See if you can remember which arm was on top the first time. If you don't remember, don't worry, because I didn't tell you to. Give yourself a hug. lift, up, down, circle, whatever feels good. And notice you could even do like a little cat movement where we're really kind of drawing the elbows down toward the belly and rounding in on ourselves here. So that's like our cat movement. Good. And then as you're ready to come out of that, move the shoulders around. Good. We've done a great job. I think we've done a great job of getting through the whole body. It may be a good time to start to sit back in your chair, or if you have another pose that you need to do, or a sun salutation, feel free to take that. All right, so whatever you'd like to do is up to you. I know, I see a couple of you doing sun salutations. Beautiful. All right. Nice job. All right. We'll start to make our way to the place where we can find ourselves more at settled and more at stillness. So check in. What does it need to move? What do you need to move? Is it fingers? Is it wrists? Or are you just ready for Shavasana? Okay, so take your time. Maybe it's the neck again. Maybe you have a favorite pose that we didn't quite get to. Just give yourself a few more breaths. Oh yeah, finger mobility is good. Yeah. Eye mobility is good. Looking to corners of an imaginary square. Sometimes that makes me dizzy. Good. Maybe it's good to give yourself a little massage at the jaw. Any place in the body. Yeah, the neck is another area that can get really tense. So feel free to give yourself a little massage anywhere you'd like. Good. My neck just did all kinds of crazy stuff now. All right. And then finding your way to your most comfortable position. We'll take another cleansing breath. Deep breath in through the nose. And a big sigh. Good. Feel free to lean back. Feel free to make your way to your couch or your bed. And we'll just gradually start to let the whole body soften just a little bit more. From your feet to your ankles, to your shins, your knees, and your thighs. Ask your legs to relax. From your tush to your low back, to your middle back and upper back. Ask your body to soften. From the front of your hips to your belly, to your chest, let your body soften there. From your shoulder blades, front and back, to the upper arms, to the elbows, to the forearms and wrists, and both hands and fingers, sets of fingers. Ask your whole upper body to soften and relax. From your throat to your neck, to your jaw, your lips, your cheeks, space between your eyebrows, sides of the head, back of the head, and top of the head. Ask your whole body, including your brain, to be at peace, softened, relaxed. Pause here and just let yourself breathe naturally.
I'll be quiet for a few more breaths and simply let you enjoy a sense of release. Very slowly let your awareness come back into your body, back to your breath. And without really hurrying, just simply notice what you feel here. And when you're ready, let any part of the body that's ready to move begin to move. So you can choose wrists, hands, ankles. You can bend the knee, straighten the leg. You can take a big stretch, feeling the length of your whole body. And then release that. And with no hurry at all, you can gently begin to open your eyes, coming back to our starting position. If you're in Shavasana and want to stay in Shavasana, it's okay. You can even stay here and I'll eventually close out, and that way you can just stay right where you are. Good. Turn your palms up. If you're sitting, and acknowledge the energy you have right now. Acknowledge that what you feel can come as a result of how you think and what you do each day. And what a great knowledge that is, that we can actually change how we feel just by what we do and how we think. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and imagine that you can keep that with you all day. I hope that you feel peaceful and joyful as you move through your day. Be safe, stay calm, be happy. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Mwah.